Okay, it is a Tuesday, January the 18th, 9:22 a.m. and my voice is a little better. I'm still sick, but I'm just getting out of it. I guess if I was a short seller, I'm covering most of my positions. I'm almost out of the code, and these are the three main stocks on this main watch list. But honestly, it's going to really depend on what is going to be happening on the other watch list. If there's any new former runner OTCs that are making moves towards the upside or the downside, that I'm going to be interested in them. But if I had to pick one, EPAZ is probably the one I'm going to be most interested in if it does a morning panic bounce play, because it just has the cleanest chart, and it did one yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but the last trading day, I didn't trade it because it was a very early 931, 932 level 2 reversal. But I did make a new rule after analyzing my trades and thinking about how my week went. If I see a potential level 2 reversal morning panic bounce play on an overall clean setup like this, or maybe the chart looks clean, I will take it. I will trade it. I will try to get long in the position, but I will not be in full sized. So then if it doesn't work, if it looks like it was gonna do it and then it just keeps downtrending, I won't have full sized loss. It'll be a smaller one, which will be totally fine. Only because they have been working so well is that going to be a reason why I'm going to consider at that time period. So yeah, EPAZ, I will focus on this one for a morning panic bounce play. It doesn't have to do it. It honestly could try to uptrend a few more days or maybe consolidate, but that's what I'm going to be focused on, as well as anything else in the other watch list. Anything towards the upside or the bottom side, I'm going to look at that as well. Alright, it is 9:55 a.m. and before I go over my trade with OWUV, I do want to go over ELEK, which is I didn't trade it, but I thought about it, and this was a stock that had news pre-market, and the level 2 showed that it was going to do some kind of a potential gap up. As you can see, it closed the last day at 55 and it opened at 65, so it definitely had a gap up. And I was just watching it. I'm not really good again with uptrending stock setups compared to morning panic bounce plays, but there was a chance I could have gone in at 70, which was right here at 9:30. But by the time I placed this order, 70, which was at the ask, was taken out, and 78 was then at the ask, and then the bid became 70, so my order was at the bid, and I knew it was less likely that I was going to be executed. I was going to get in the setup for that reason. But this was nice. It shot up to 93, and it would have been pretty easy to sell this thing for a nice profit. And I never really got in this trade. And then I was looking at EPAZ next, which was the one I was most focused on in terms of a morning panic bounce play. In theory, 10,000 shares, 938, which was right here at 23. Just after it had that little downtrend, then big panic wick, and then it was right at 23. And I thought, maybe I might consider it, but then something just fell off. So, I got out of it, and it did get just a little tick higher, but you can see it just came back down. So it's not looking very clean. The volume isn't really there, and unfortunately, I got screwed with OWUV. This thing is, it's a piece of shit pump and dump. But the way this one trades is also super, super, super manipulative. But it was my fault. It wasn't really OWUV's fault, although they did have some really manipulative price action. They probably thought I was a shark or something with a lot of shares, and they were trying to play games. But I only had 10,000 shares, and the setup wasn't horrible. I was in at 942 right here, and it felt like it could have been a potential morning panic bounce play. A little bit of a choppy one, but after consolidating, above this 9.5 level, and then, at 942, it was starting to trade above this range here. So it looked like it was trying to make a move towards VWAP, which it did, but it wasn't really perfect. And I got in at again 942, and that was 19.9, right? Actually filled at 19.88, but basically 19.9. I did hit the ask, and something to consider, right? 19.9 was at the ask, and you know, there were like hidden sellers maybe at like 19.8, 19.7, and then when I placed my order, I saw 19.7, 19.8, and then it got to 19.9. I said, all right, that's kind of weird, you know. That's like something that happens when you trade with a larger size, not a tiny, in theory, what this should have been a $200 position. But it wasn't until later that I realized, wait a minute, this is a 19-cent stock, and I'm in 10,000 shares. I am not 1,000 shares in, which is what I'm supposed to be. I'm in 10,000 shares. So that means I'm actually, look at this price action. I'm actually trading a $2,000 position. I'm literally 10 times the size that I'm supposed to be in. And I thought, oh, well, that sucks. That's not really good. And it got to this point at 9, I think it was sooner when I placed the order. Let me see what 947 is. Yeah, that might have been when I had an execution, right? But I did immediately place an order just slightly higher than my entry at 19.9. And geez, just ridiculous price action. I wish it could say when I placed it. I guess it shows when I got some shares executed. Maybe it was 947 when I placed it. I don't think it was though. No, it was definitely not 947. I placed a sell order after I realized that, you know, I was not sized in appropriately. I was sized in way too much. And yeah, the thing is that I had my sell at 19.9, and then we had like a blip here to 244. I didn't get any shares executed. And then we had one at 19.93. I didn't get anything executed except for 100 shares that I was able to get at 19.9. Just pathetic the way this one was trading. And I knew at that point, because you know, it would show my 10,000 share thing at the ask, that they were just using me to get, you know, more shares traded however they were trying to do it. And then, you know, me following my rules, which I don't regret at all. When it broke it right here at 949, I thought, all right, well, this sucks. You know, it didn't work out on the setup. I was oversized, you know, unfortunately. And I'll cut it at 950. It says that I was executed. I did try to sell much sooner. Let me see if I have any. Yeah, you can see this was me trying to mess around, trying to get out. You can see as soon as 945 I was trying to get out at 20, and I didn't get anything executed there. Yeah, no, the way this one traded was pretty bad, but that's fine. I should not have been sized in as much as I was. And then again at 950 I was out right here at basically the bottom. I'm just gonna guess they thought some dumbass with a large size, you know, is trying to get out, so let's just break the day low and get some panic sellers. And I did get out there, as well as I guess some other person here. But yeah, this one just played me hard, and unfortunately I was just oversized. If I had just 1,000 shares, which was ideal, I wouldn't have lost very much. I would have lost a lot less. But because I ended up, you know, 10 times my size, this is like a negative $40 day. But that's totally fine. I lost $40 not because I traded like a dumbass, but because I was just oversized. And this thing trades really manipulatively. You know, how they just, you know, break the day low, scare some people out, or, you know, cut losses people, and then just bring it back up. This thing, I'm going to ban it. I'm not going to trade this thing anymore, even if it goes to $5 like all the promoters say it will, or $50. Might as well say $500. I'm not going to trade this stock anymore. It's a pump and dump. You know, I've traded it a few more times previously. It's always traded manipulatively. Unfortunately, you know, I accidentally went again way oversized on the setup that, you know, that was fine. It's just that, you know, it didn't work out, which was unfortunately the case. Sometimes, you know, I might be oversized. I've been in that position. Like I remember LTNC, I accidentally traded a $3,000 position instead of a $300 position, and I made like $110 unfortunately, this just wasn't a case where I was not sized appropriately and the setup didn't work out. And as in not being sized appropriately, I was in too much, but that's totally fine. If it was that, you know, I somehow lost $40 on a $300 or a $200 position, I would be so upset with myself, because then I would have had to have done something so stupid, unless maybe the stock got halted. And if that was the case, then why am I trading such a large size on a listed stock? This was definitely an exception of the rule. I just gotta pay attention. If it's a 19, you know, if it's a stock over 10 cents, 1,000 shares for a $10 risk level, which was what I was going for, but I accidentally traded 10,000 shares, which would have been fine if this was a, you know, a 1 cent stock. So that's the lesson there. Just make sure you're sized in appropriately. Again, this one didn't work out, unfortunately. It could have worked out, but this one trades really manipulatively, which is fine. It was my fault ultimately for just being oversized. I'll keep looking, but I don't see anything else right now at the moment, but I'll definitely be looking now for any potential setups. But yeah, it's going to be a unfortunately, you know, a sucky one, but I don't feel that bad just because of the fact I was oversized. It wasn't that like I traded like an idiot. It was just that I had too many shares on accident, trading with, in theory, $100 risk level instead of a $10 risk level. Alright, it is 10:11 a.m. I did a quick look. I don't really see anything else that I'm interested in trading except for maybe SIRC, just because it's having an uptrend, and the only thing I would be interested in is if maybe this thing were to come near the VWAP level, whenever that could happen, if it happens. And maybe depending on how it holds or trades around VWAP, it could be a long setup. But at no interest, you know, do I have the inclination to try to make back what I lost today. That is totally out of the case, because if I were to do something dumb like that and try to make back everything that I lost, I'd probably lose more, just because then I'm not trading because of setups. I'm trading because of emotion and wanting to go back to green. Again, this was just, you know, an exception to the rule. This should not have happened. I should have been in, you know, just a 1,000 share position. I probably would have been executed for a profit too, because then, you know, 1,000 shares are not going to manipulate the level 2 with my, you know, 10,000 share order. They would have probably have just gotten me executed, especially when I was at 19.9. I guess I don't have it here. Let me put it back. Again, I won't trade this one anymore. It's banned because it just doesn't seem to, you know, be a stock that I get along with. But again, that's totally fine. At 947, right, I did place a sell at, sell at 19.9, and you can see here I got higher here. You know, I got the 19.91. Here I got higher. I got the 20, right, and here I got to, again, higher than my 19.9, and then, you know, I cut it eventually at 950, but it was trading, you know, shares above my limit sell order. So, you know, I'm at 19.9, and then, you know, some prints are getting through at 20, and, you know, why aren't I, you know, getting executed? So pretty, you know, messed up price action. Again, I will be looking at SIRC, but yeah, that really sucks. But at least I lost money on something that was just a fat finger mistake. Again, I would have been mega pissed off if I lost that money trading like an idiot. You know, I just was too oversized. Once again, trading a $100 risk level in this case instead of a $10 risk level. So yeah, I'll make an update if there's anything going on with SIRC or any other stock. But as for the other ones, they just don't really have good volume. Sure, this one could try to come back to 24, but big sellers at the ask, which I never like, and no volume, so that's not really good. TGGI, I guess, was a morning panic bounce play, but I would never have traded that with the way this one has like no volume. This one failed, although it had a super nice spike in the 90s. That's really about it. So I'll make an update again if there's anything nice with SIRC. It is 11:39 and I want to make an update. I have to go to the garage. I also think it's probably healthier for me to go to the garage and fulfill a whole bunch of orders that I need to get out of here today, now that it is a regular business day. So the mail's gonna go by, and those packages should be ready by then. I just want to go over the state of the OTCs right now. Even though, yeah, my sell looked pretty freaking bad at 950 right here at the bottom, I don't regret it, because that's what I do. I cut losses quickly, and it could have kept downtrending a lot more. That would have been much worse if it were to have dropped to where it was right here. And I thought, oh man, okay, well, I'll wait for it to come back. It'll probably come back and I'll sell then. And then it doesn't, and it keeps downtrending. And now you're screaming. So even though in this case it did come back, right, and maybe I could have been, if it wasn't too manipulative, been executed, maybe for breaking even or something like that, it got even lower. So I'm glad I at least didn't bag hold this position. But I think in the future, if I ever become oversized on the setup, what I'm going to do is immediately, even if it means I'm going to have to take some losses, immediately size down to the position I want it to be in correctly. So then, if it doesn't work out like it was here with OWUV, I won't take a larger than regular size loss, or at least not too massively, because I did still oversize, and it's probably going to be some difference between my entry and my exits. Sizing down to the size I actually wanted to trade. That would have helped me, I think, be maybe just less likely to lose. And of course, if it were to have worked out the setup, that's totally fine too. But excuse me, I think that's what I'm going to do in the future. Really sucks with OWV, and it did break this level here, and they went even lower. Not looking too strong, but I'm gonna guess at some point it's gonna try to make a move towards the upside. But I'm gonna ban this stock just because it doesn't seem like I get along with it very well. It's very manipulative in the way it traded. But regardless of what this stock is or isn't, I shouldn't have been oversized, and that was my fault. EPAZ did come back to VWAP, but I don't mind missing that. This is some freaky low volume price action. I was looking at TGGI when it did this dip right here near the day low. Just I didn't like the lack of volume, but this did make a move to VWAP, and I did hesitate on trading some of these setups because I didn't want to feel like, oh, it didn't work out with that trade, and now maybe I'm just being crazy trying to make it back. But that was the idea there. It actually did make a move here. Just again, not good volume. I don't know if I still have it. Yeah, I still have it. I wasn't sorry about that. I'm back. With SIRC, I didn't really see it when it was doing the breakout. I saw it a bit later, around 54.4, but this was essentially something where you could draw a trend line from this right here. And I like how it was following it. This would have been a sell alert, and then it started to follow the underside, but then it eventually had distance from the line, but it actually continued to make a move towards the upside, and that was pretty impressive. When it did this breakout right here, I just wasn't there when it was initially happening, and then when I did see it at 54.4, I was kind of worried that maybe I will get in, and then I'm not in at a more ideal price around 53 or maybe 54 flat, and then what if it doesn't work? Then I was in right here, then I'm out right here, and that would stink. But this one actually did make a move. It got to 60, which is a lot of nice range, and I'm sure I could have drawn a trend line right, and it would have followed it nicely to have given me a good place to sell. Again, I'm just not really good with uptrending stocks, and I'm glad this one worked out here. That's really all I have for right now. I'll make an update to see what all the OTCs and the other things do at the market close. But for right now, I have to do that, fulfill a bunch of orders. Very similar idea with SPY and that. I don't know if it's gonna show, but yeah, this one's doing it too, where it broke the trend line and then it started following it here from the bottom part of the trend line. It's gonna make some distance. Will it try again and break out later? Maybe. Will it downtrend? It could totally downtrend. So that's what I have for right now. I'll make an update again when the market is closed. Alright, it is 6:43 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I am down a whopping 75 bucks and 36 cents today, and if this is how I'm going to lose, something like that because I fat fingered a trade on the stock that is cursed every single time I trade it, that's totally fine. Really, really, really painful lesson there, but although it sucks, it wasn't something that I traded horribly. I was just way oversized. The percent loss was like 3.7%, and maybe if I only had 1,000 shares, I would have lost maybe $7.50. Or actually, I probably would have been able to sell this thing a lot easier when it cracked. This level right here. Which one was it? Let me go and zoom in a little more. Yeah, right here. When it cracked this level, I probably would have been able to get out at a much better price because I would have only have had 1,000 shares. And on top of that, when my order was just sitting there with literally orders going to pass my limit sell price, I probably would have been executed to my 1,000 shares. I probably could have gotten out of this profitably if I was just trading 1,000 shares, and that just shows how manipulative some of these stocks are. I guess especially if you trade, a much larger size. In this case, it was, roughly $100 risk level. You probably need to sell in pieces because if you just try to sell everything at once, especially on a very cursed stock like OWUV, they're just gonna play with your order and really, get to you. So, yeah, that really sucked there. It just faded the rest of the day, didn't do anything impressive, and I won't trade this thing anymore. I'm literally just gonna ban it. Just because I just don't seem to get along with that one. EPAZ didn't really do anything. Unfortunately, this wasn't really that nice of a morning panic bounce play. It was kind of bad. TGGI kind of offered one, but the thing was disgusting the way that looked right there. Just like a lack of volume overall. This one was pretty cool. Again, not my thing, but I could have been in at 70. That was a super nice spike. And as for SIRC, this one kept uptrending. I went to do a whole bunch of other things. It wasn't really much of a setup anymore unless you wanted to consider maybe a dip buy at VWAP. But this would have thrown me off potentially when it broke under it. So, yeah, OWUV got me good. In the future, if I accidentally do that again and I have another zero, because that can totally happen, although, with that burn, I'm gonna be less likely interested in screwing up. I'm going to size down immediately, even if that means I'm going to lose, and end up being red on the trade, and just stick to that original size I was interested in. If that was the case when I accidentally got in at that price, I would have been able to lose a lot less. And, yep, that's all I have for today.